So why is Kundalini awakening, not Kundalini activation, Kundalini awakening, why is it so important? First of all, we must understand that Kundalini awakening is not a Hindu practice. And you'll actually discover the most efficient way to awaken the Kundalini isn't with Hindu practices, with the chakras and blah, blah, blah. The Taoist practices combined with those Hindu practices, and a few Western techniques added in, will be the most effective way to awaken your Kundalini. Now, if you wish to take a long time to do it, many, many years, you can do it by yourself. If you wish to do it much faster, the best way is to do it with somebody, to train with somebody. And yes, that is what I do. Go to theawakeningenergy.com if you're interested. But why is it so important? And why is it that I say not just a Hindu practice? Well, it is the raising of energy to connect to consciousness. And not your inner consciousness, your higher consciousness, or the collective consciousness. That is climbing the stairway to heaven, as heaven and God resides within us. It is the connection of the energy of Sophia, the female Shakti energy, to the male Shiva energy, that is Christ consciousness. It is the rising of Isis to meet Osiris. It is the raising of the serpent up the temple at solstice, up those stairs, to reach the crown pinnacle and beyond of those temples we see all over the world. The 35 secret teachings in theory of Thoth are all about Kundalini awakening. To activate your magic, to fully connect to your magic, it is to awaken the Kundalini. It is to connect your energy to the consciousness. It's everywhere, it's in everything. Now, I said, there are Taoist practices that are far more powerful than just sort of focusing on the chakras. This is very true. Obviously, within my trainings, I teach you the whole processes. But there's one I'm going to start with here. And if you're thinking about coming and taking one of my trainings to awaken your Kundalini in one of the safest ways possible, not safe, safest ways possible, then I invite you to do this first, because it is the thing that takes my students the longest thing to do in general. So if you start practicing this Now it's going to enable you to move much faster through the trainings when you come and join me. So we are talking about the dantians. Excuse me. We are specifically talking about the lower dantian. Now, what are the dantians? No one's ever heard about the dantians before. Well, I started talking and teaching about the dantians 15, 20 years ago. And they have been slowly gathering momentum. But the place you will find the dantians in Western texts without even realizing they're talking about it is when we talk about the three bodies. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to say earlier, the other very famous text that basically talks about the Kundalini and things like that is obviously the Kabbalistic teachings, the Tree of Life. What is it? Yeah, it's a roadmap. But anyway, coming back to the lower dantian. So when you see pictures in books of the three bodies, there's a circle drawn on the human body, another circle drawn on the human body, another circle drawn on the human body. Yeah? And then one is named causal, astral, physical, or the names change, but the drawing's always the same. At the center of those circles, one is here, one is here, one is here, are the dantians. They are the three energy centers of the body. And the first one we activate is the lower, just like in martial arts. Very, very important in many things. Martial arts, medical qigong, Kundalini Awakening. Not so much activation. Kundalini activation's more pranic healing, Reiki. You don't need to activate them. But if you want to awaken, yeah, you're going to have to. And of course, in the Taoist practices, Kundalini Awakening, we could basically call it the transference between the macrocosmic orbit to the microcosmic orbit within the body to the macrocosmic body outside the body. Micro to macro. Again, it's there. It's in every culture. So how do we do this? How do we start awakening the lower dantian? Or should I say reactivating the lower dantian? Because it is said that everybody's lower dantian is activated up to the age of 10. And then it shuts down. However, I have my theory that in women, it doesn't shut down quite as much as in men. And there's a very specific reason for this. Women always say they're much closer to their intuition and it's their second chakra and it's, well, is it their second chakra or is it their lower dantian? Because where is your lower dantian? Your lower dantian is if you put two fingers below your belly button and draw a line from there straight back to your spine. And then you draw a line from your perineum up to the top of your head, not your spine, straight through the center of your body, or you can even pull your perineum up to feel it. Where the line going back crosses with the vertical coming up, that exact point is where your lower dantian is. Now you might not feel anything. It's absolutely normal for you not to feel anything. We're going to get on to how to start growing this, reactivating it. But you can see why that point, given female anatomy, would make sense that it's not the second chakra that and women's intuition comes from. Because of the intuition comes from, in a large part, the lower dantian. So it just makes it's just the bog standard nonsense dogmatic statements. It's the second chakra. One said it's the second chakra. And no one actually bothers to think about it. But if you actually think about it and you analyze it, it's the lower dantian. And the other reason why the lower dantian in women is very important is it used to be said until it got banned in China by one of the emperors. It was said that when women activate their chi properly, they will become stronger than men. Simply, not because of their physical size, no, simply because of the amount of energy that they can culminate within their body. Now, of course, in a patriarchal society, this was wiped out. The teachings were wiped out and eradicated. But it's interesting they used to say that because, again, that would make sense with given the organs, the placement of the organs and the placement of the lower dantian, this would make perfect sense. Of course, the lower dantian is the only place that we can build and hold energy. It is the only reservoir we can safely hold energy within our body without causing damage. Everywhere else, it has to flow. It's not a reservoir. So how do we activate by ourselves the lower dantian? Very important here. No visualizations, no affirmations, none of that rubbish. And in fact, if you try to visualize it, you're going to create a false sense of ability because you're going to visualize it happening. And then you're going to convince yourself that that visualization is reality. It's how the mind works. It's how so many people think they've done blah, 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 and they actually haven't. You're going to feel it physically. Now, if you think, I live in a magic world with magic pills and he's going to say it, I'm magically going to be able to do it. Yeah, no, it doesn't happen that way. For most people that I've worked with, it takes them several months of daily practice just to even start noticing this. There are a few people that can do it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks of daily practice, but the vast majority is a couple of months, which means there's a lot of people that might take a year or two to be able to feel this. So how do we do this? How do we begin to feel this? It's very simple. Place your attention on that spot. That's it. Nothing else. You don't try and activate anything. You just place your awareness. So 2 fingers down from your belly button, straight line back, pull your perineum up where it crosses that line, that point. Just focus your attention on that point. Don't try and do anything. Just feel. Now, it is important to realize that if you start to feel something, and this will happen to a lot of people, they will start to feel something. And then they will actually realize that it's happening, not in that point, it's actually happening sort of on the surface of the skin, as it were. 2 fingers below the belly button. And then they'll be convinced they've activated their lower dantian. They haven't. That placement is called the false dantian because so many people get it wrong. That is a meridian point. Yes, it's a powerful meridian point. Yes, it has its many purposes, but that is not the lower dantian. So just sit, be aware of it. If you're working, sitting at your computer, sitting, playing a guitar, the piano, whatever it is you do, all day, every day, keep your attention there. Keep your attention there when you're driving, just slightly. Obviously, keep most of your attention on the road. When you're going for a walk, place your attention there. So you're brushing your teeth or sitting on the toilet or falling asleep in bed, place your attention there. Now, how big is the lower dantian? When it activates, it will probably be maybe at most the size of a pea. It can grow to the size of a softball being a large tennis ball. How big it can grow. It is a very important step in this process. As I said, nothing to do with chakras, nothing to do with the sushumna, nothing to do with the sanas, nothing to do with breath work, nothing to do with movements, calisthenics class, gentle exercise class, whatever you want to call it, Kundalini yoga. I'm just making a joke. Nothing to do with that. It's just opening the energies. Once you've activated that, come join a training with me. Or perhaps you don't want to wait that long and you want to help me help you through this process as well. Okay, come join me sooner. theawakenenergy.com. Go check out the trainings. See you in another video. After you have interacted with this video, if you've enjoyed it, so you get more of my content. So obviously there's always that subscribe to my channel, but interact with the video. Hit that like button, leave a comment, share it with a friend. So YouTube knows you've enjoyed the video and it will show you more of my content. Interaction on any of the platforms is the way to be shown more of the content you like to see. Now, see you in another video.